Hello and welcome to another Daddy James Films computer tutorial. Okay, and this tutorial is going to be another photo editing tutorial. This should be my second one that I've done. The first one is that I pretty much told you about Paint.net and GIMP. And I also let you know that most of my photo editing is going to be in Paint.net. Alright, so this one, I think I'll go ahead and go over how to make just about any picture transparent. Depending on the picture, it kind of depends. But yeah, basically, depending on the picture, it depends. Some pictures will take longer to make transparent. Some pictures are pretty much be a simple click and then you're done. For example, let me go ahead and bring this up. Here's a picture of a greyhound. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and right click in it and open with Paint.net. Okay, once the Paint.net opens up, let's say that I want to make this picture transparent. Now, since this has an all white background, making this picture transparent is going to be simple and easy. All you have to do is come over here to your magic wand tool, click on that, and then click in the white area. Now, as you can see right here, it kind of leaked onto his face some. If I would hit delete now, it would take some of his face out, as you can see right here. So I'm gonna hit Control Z and undo that. Now, in order to fix that so it won't do it, and also down here too, it would have took some of his feet off as well. So what I'm going to do is go up here where the tolerance is and take that down. So I'm going to take it down to like 46, click on the picture again, and voila, as you can see, it pretty much fixed it. Okay, once you're done with that, all you have to do is come up here and either one, you can hit cut, or on your keyboard, what I like to do is just click the delete key, and it pretty much took care of it. Alright, simple as that. And I think you can do it, go up here and do it as well. You go to edit and cut if you want to do it like that. So anyway, as you can see right here, it pretty much cut the dog. Okay. Sometimes you'll get some imperfections where it didn't quite do it correctly, but from the looks of this, it looked like it did a really good job of it. Yeah, but sometimes you'll have little imperfections and you need to take the eraser tool and just erase any imperfections. Let's say like right here, I need to erase some of this, which really I didn't need to, but I can go around, right here, maybe I could cut a little bit of this off and make it a little bit more better. Oh, by the way, when you go to erase, a lot of times keeping it, you can go ahead and make the brush big like this and do some erasing and stuff. It's fine. Occasionally you'll find yourself changing the brush width, to suit your needs, to make it a little bit more quicker. But to get some of the finer edges, it's best to go down as small as you can, like to 1, and get some of the finer edges. And you need to have, it's best to have a mouse with a wheel, because you'll be using, you can hold down Control and scroll with your mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out like that. Okay, and then let go of the Control and you can go up and down with the picture. That will come really handy whenever you're doing this. But let's say right here in this little area right there, I have some imperfections there. Well, I just have one with my brush with, and I zoom in as much as possible because it makes it easier to get the more finer points to zoom all the way in and just do your cutting there. And it looks real pixelated when you zoom in a lot, but when you zoom back out, it won't look as pixelated. So that's pretty much how you get the finer, get a more finer work done on your pictures. And I'm sorry, I might not be using good English here, but I'm trying my best. So, anyways, that's how you do those types of pictures. Whenever you want to go save this, make sure that you save it as a PNG file. You can go to File, Save As. Okay, down here at the bottom, you want to click on this button right here on the Save File Type, and you want to save it as PNG. Alright, now once you save it as PNG, it'll be a transparency. Now make sure that you never save it as a JPEG, alright, for transparent pictures. JPEGs will not do transparent pictures. Alright, only PNG. Alright, so, and then name it whatever you want and then hit save. Okay, next save configuration will pop up, and you pretty much leave everything like it is. Okay, I wouldn't change anything else, and I pretty much give you a preview of the picture, and then it has that checkered background. The only thing that checkered background means that the picture is going to be transparent. It's just letting you know that. You hit OK. Okay, and the picture is saved. Now I can go back to this file, and I see it right here. As you can see, the atom type is a PNG file, so you know it's going to be a transparent one. Right here is a JPEG. Okay, so if I click on this picture right here, okay, and I'm using Windows 10, so Windows 10, when they do the picture previews, it's going to be like that. Now, one thing I've noticed, there is some imperfections on here. As you can see, the whiteness right here, so it doesn't look very clear. And in order to fix that, basically what you need to do is pretty much take your eraser tool and go around his body. I like to use a bigger one and do as much as I can. Zoom in if I have to, and just go around the body and just cut a little bit off. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can use a bigger tool, you can go smaller if you want a little bit more finer cuts on here. Just go around his body, just cut a little bit off. Just a little bit. Don't do a whole lot, and it doesn't hurt to cut a little bit off. Around, as long as it's, you know, doing the edges and stuff. And doing this, it'll make the picture a lot more clear. Now sometimes when you get into this area right here, sometimes you need to make it smaller, but in this case, I actually picked the right size for it. I'm not doing a very good job right now because this does take time to do. Okay, so let me go ahead and save this again. And I'm going to replace that picture, okay? First, before I do that, let me close this one out. Okay, here, okay? Alright, now, let's get another preview of that. And as you can see, I fixed some of the whiteness that's there. I didn't get it all. As you can see right here, I fixed it. And when I came down here, I fixed it some. Alright, so it is possible to get some of this whiteness out, and it'll still look okay. Alright. Depending on how big you make the eraser tool, it would depend on how blurry it looks right here on edges. If you don't want it to look that blurry, then you need to make the eraser tool a little bit more smaller. As you can see down here, I made the eraser tool smaller, and you didn't get the blur effect right there. You know, it looks a little bit more natural right here. So if you want the blur look, then make your tool bigger. If you don't want the blur alert, then make your eraser tool smaller as you're doing your cut. Alright, so that's how you do a picture like that. Now let's say you want to make a picture, make a transparent picture out of another picture that might not have like a solid background. You know, let's pick, you know what, let's pick something like this. And let's say we want to make the barn okay, let's do this. Let's say we want to make the barn, I just want to cut out the barn, although, you know, not a very good one, but let's say if I just wanted to cut this barn out. You know, let's say if I want to cut this haystack out. You see the haystack right here? Let's say if I just wanted to cut this out. Okay, now if you try to use the wand tool, of course, it's not going to work. I mean, it'll do little areas like that. I can just cut that out, do that, cut that, cut that, cut that, cut that. You see, it won't work. So maybe I can use it on some of it, but for the most part, it's not going to work. So what you have to resort to is the eraser tool. Alright, now you can use the eraser tool, or you can go ahead and get some of it by using either the rectangle select, or you can use a lasso select tool. I like to use the lasso select tool sometimes because it does make things a little bit more easier. And let me show you, for example. I'm gonna go down here, and I might have to move this out of the way. And I want to get this haystack. Okay, I can click and hold, do as close as possible to this haystack as I can. And sometimes it's a little harder to do. You know, you might not get it perfect, but you could probably take your eraser tool and fix any imperfections later with it. Okay, I'm gonna come all the way up right here, and over. Now I've selected all this area. All I have to do is hit delete on my keyboard, and it took everything else out. Next thing I can do is use my eraser tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and make it a bigger one. Alright, so this project won't take that long. Again, to have less of a blur in it, make your tool a little bit smaller whenever you're using the eraser tool. And I'm just going to pretty much go around here and smooth everything out. Okay. It ain't going to hurt because this is a haystack, so I can end up, it doesn't have to be perfect either. But I am going to get all the original pictures backgrounds out of this. Okay. Oh, let me get that too. Okay, here's the haystack. Now you say, well, this is going to look, you know, it's not going to look perfect. You can make it look perfect. It just takes a little bit of work. Something that I did one time whenever I was trying to do a haystack is I'll come over here and use the clone stamp tool. Okay, and I click on that. Let me make my brush size smaller. And zoom in a lot, and I'm all, in order to use the clone stamp, what it would do is kind of like clone whatever area that you pick. So let's say that I want to pick this area. Okay, well that's like really small, so as you can see it's a little circle there. This is actually a little too small what I'm looking for. Let me try to make it a little bit more bigger. There you go, that's a little bit better. And it'll clone wherever is in that circle, but once you click on here, it's going to pretty much follow your cursor. Let me show you. Okay, it's going to pretty much follow it, as you can see right there. And you zoom out, you see it'll make imperfections here. That way you give a little bit more of a realistic look here, and not so smooth if you're not wanting a smooth look. And again, you can take your time doing this. I'm just doing it real quick for this video purpose. Okay. Alright, so that'll look a little bit more, it looks a little bit more real like that. Now let's say, and again, when you want to go save this, you got to save it as a PNG file. Now let's say if we have a more delicate picture. Let's just say we want to use the puppy right here. Okay, and it's kind of a small picture, as you might notice. But let's say we want to cut out the pumpkin in here. So, of course, using the wand tool is definitely not going to work. Okay, so we're going to have to use the eraser tool again. But first, before I do that, I want to use the lasso tool and kind of cut around it as much as possible. Dog and pumpkin. Okay, now that I got it around, all the way around the dog and pumpkin, what I can do, I can go ahead and hit copy. Alright, next what I want to do is go to layers and add a new layer. Alright, now that it's on the new layer, and make sure by over here that the layer 2 is active right here. Okay, next what I could do is first I have to click somewhere else on the picture just so I can take that select away. And then what I could do is go ahead and hit paste. Alright, and I can move it around if I want. Okay. Alright. And I got the dog paste in there. Then what I can do is go back to the original background by coming over here at layers, hit the background, and then you can hit delete layer. And there you go. You've deleted the layer. Right. And from here you can pretty much take your eraser tool and erase around it. One thing about this is that it does take time to do. Alright, so I'm going ahead and fast forward this a little bit so that I can show you the end result. And again, please ignore the pixelation on this picture. This is just an example. Okay, I'll suggest you use good pictures, but I'm just using this as an example. And oh, by the way, if you notice something, I will not be able to erase outside this. It will only erase inside the selected area. And to fix that, all I have to do is hit either the rectangle or the lasso select tool or the ellipse select tool, and just click somewhere on the picture to take away that selection. Go back to your eraser and continue on erasing. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and fast forward it. Now you just saw me do an undo button. Make sure that you take the mouse button, unclick your mouse button as you're doing this from time to time, or you find out that you've done a lot and then you have to hit undo because you made a mistake and you have to go back and redo that. So remember, from time to time, take your finger off the mouse button. Okay, there you go. Now there is some imperfections on here that I'll need to zoom in and actually correct. So let's make my cursor a little smaller. In this case, this is already a small picture. I could probably do one and actually get some of the little cracks and crevices, like around here. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this cracks right here. Alright. Alright, that looks a little better. Go in on this a little bit. There you go. Like I said, this is like a horrible picture. I should have picked a better picture for this. Alright, and I'm pretty much done. Okay, so here it is. And again, like I said, this is probably a horrible picture. I shouldn't have used this picture. But for the purpose, you kind of get it. Okay, so here you go. Now let's say that I want to put him in a different background. So let's go ahead and go back to the barn picture right there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. So what I can do on this, I'm going to go ahead and add this as a layer. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it down to Paint.net and add it on here. Let's add it as a layer. Now, if you notice, this picture is like humongously a heck of a lot more bigger than than the dog with the pumpkin. But what we can do, we can fix that. First thing we do right here is we're going to click on layers and put it as the background. Okay. Now we're going to hold down Control on the mouse wheel and make it small to where we can pretty much see everything. Alright, now you notice that the dog and pumpkin is like really small. Now we can do two things. We can either, one, go back to the dog and pumpkin and make that one bigger, or two, we can make the whole picture smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the Move Select tool, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and make the background picture a little bit more smaller, and the dog and pumpkin maybe a little bit more bigger. Once I do that, you'll see these little dots around the picture. Okay, now what I'm going to do is click, drag. Let's make this a little smaller. We'll make it a whole lot smaller. Alright, now hey, I need to pause this tutorial for just a second. You may notice that my cursor is not moving with the picture when I'm resizing it or something like that. That's the screen capturing program that I was using. It ended up messing up and it didn't quite capture my cursor moving in the right spots. But I figure you probably know exactly what I'm doing and stuff like that. But be aware that the cursor might not be moving where it's supposed to, but that's because of the screen capturing program I'm using. Anyways, back to the tutorial. Now, since I have this already selected, okay, it's going to make my job a little bit more easier to resize the canvas area. So I'm going to go right up here to Image and Crop to Selection. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in. Unfortunately, doing that is going to make the whole picture a lot smaller itself. So, but for this purpose, you're going to see why I'm doing this. Okay, now I need to go ahead, instead of leaving the dog flying in the air, I need to go back to that layer, which is right here. And oh, by the way, secrets to photo editing: layers upon layers upon layers. Makes things a lot more easier. Alright, now I went to layer 2, Alright, make sure my move selection tool is selected. Now either one, I can go ahead and just move the dog. Alright, but you see all this selection right here? Sometimes that gets on my nerves. So what I like to do is just go ahead and go to the rectangle select tool and just select around the dog. Because if you have to need to resize it or anything like that, it just makes it a lot more easier. Go back to the move selection tool and click that one, and then click and hold and drag it to wherever you want to put it at. I think it's going to fit right there nicely. Alright, now we got it set now. Let's say if I want to make this a little bit more bigger, so I'm going to come up here, click and hold, and just make it a little bigger. Alright, I made it wider. Alright, now as you can see with me doing that, and I picked a perfect spot for it really, I believe. It looks a little bit more natural, like it actually belongs there. Yeah. So I have the dog sitting there. Okay, well here you go. As you see, this picture has been edited before. I've edited, I made the haystack pop out a little bit and made the background a little bit more blurrier and stuff, but I'll show you how to do that in the next tutorial. But for this tutorial, this is pretty much how to make any picture transparent. Okay, and like I said, the pictures might not be perfect, but it's you know, it's a tutorial, and I'm doing this as a sample. You can do better jobs with better pictures that are better with better pixels in it. So, anyways, that's it for this video. Comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe, and I hope this helps you out.